now I feel like I'm just really like on my content kick because I'm online now. And like I know, for online, you gotta push it. Like people gotta see it.
You taking the biggest risk when you decided you want to start your brand because it's going to be two types of people. It's going to be either somebody that's just doing their brand or somebody that's working and try to doing their brand. So the risk for the person that's just doing their brand is like, this is all you got. Like this ain't, for us, we don't think about no plan B. We only think about how to make this plan work, period. All right, welcome back to the podcast. I'm Marlon Watts, co-owner and CEO of World and Vision.
Hey, I'm Nicholas Clark, co-owner and designer of World and Vision.
And like we told y'all, it's August and it's a very special month for us. All right, Hurricane Katrina, affected New Orleans, affected all of our lives that's, on this podcast. And so we wanted to make sure we dedicated this month to showing love to New Orleans brands and, just saluting all the hometown heroes that's making it happen, that's out here hustling. And so we appreciate you, all right? We got, it was not a lot of women that we bring on the podcast, and y'all are in demand right now. So all the women entrepreneurs, you better watch this from start to finish, all right? And make sure you subscribe to our channel, run us up. We're gonna be approaching 90K subscribers, and we need you. We need your help to get there, all right? And you're gonna be able to win 100 free t-shirts. Just let us know what you learned inside this video.
All right, hey, like Marlon said, before we get into it, I need y'all to watch this video all the way to the end. All right, I need y'all to let us know. All right, who dropped the most gems? Lala,
having a gym battle,
me, or Mo. All right, but look, we're not even gonna take too much of Lala time, but we want her to introduce herself, all right, and let them know your brand, let them know what it's all about. This your moment right here.
Okay, hi guys. My name is Lala. Many may know me by Lala. My real name is Lariel. Some people call me Young Wealth, which is my company's name, Young and Wealthy, but whichever works best for y'all. So I started my company in 2017. I was in school, I was in college. It was my sophomore year in college. And since I've been able, I've always worked. Like I've always had a job, always wanted to make money, always had a passion for just having my own since I was like a young child, a young girl. And so every job that I've ever had, I just always felt like something chaotic, just randomly just always happened. And I'm the type of person, I put my all into whatever it is that I'm doing. If it's your brand that you got me promoting, I'm gonna do it like it's mine. So I always do that whenever I would, work for a company, I would just go super hard and then before you know it, I find myself getting fired and I'm like, okay, what's going on? So that led me up till now to starting my brand. So like I said, I was in college in Houston, Texas, 2017, and it was like my last strike. I was working at the Marriott Marquis. Many of y'all might be familiar with it. It's like a really nice resort type of vibe in Houston, Texas. And I was so honored to work there because I just felt so like high class and just, excited and inspired to be in that type of environment. And so one day, my cousin, she has her own boutique. She wanted to do like a photo shoot up there. So I was like, we can like do it at my job because I used to always hang out by the pool. And so just some reason for that day, I never knew that was not supposed to happen. Like I wasn't supposed to be up there hanging out off of like outside of being at work. I didn't know I had did it so many times. I would go up there, read, write, work, do all type of things. But this time it didn't work out well. So I received a text message from my manager at the time saying, they had to terminate me because of this and that. And I was just so shattered. Like I was so lost. I was supporting myself in college. So the only thing that I can think of was like, wow, this is it. I had just got my very first apartment. And, I'm just thinking like, my rent I'm about to get evicted, lights about to get cut off. So I just was like, I have to do something. And so I went into my room. I was like always kind of like into God, but at the time I was like 18, 19, living fast, wasn't really like into him like that, but I knew who he was. But I went into my room and I just started praying like crazy. Like, God, just help me. I just want to, find and discover my purpose. I didn't feel like I had my purpose at the time. I just felt like I was just living to make money. And I'm like, I don't want to live like this no more. I don't want to, keep giving my all to these companies. And then before you know it, they're taking it away. And I just went to praying, reading and writing and just journaling and sketching and just doing all type of things. So from the start of anything, like I always knew I wanted to help people. before, the apparel came about, before Young Wealth came about, I just knew that I wanted to help people. That's my passion, just helping others. But I was just so distraught because I'm like, since I was young, I just was like the pretty girl. I never had no talent. At least that's what I thought. My friends, they did makeup, they did hair, they did nails, like, the stuff that could help you make money. So I never really felt like I could be an entrepreneur. I could do those type of things. And so I'm like, man, like, what is it? So I called one of my friends from California. She was actually my roommate at the time. And she and I, we were both just like going through like a lot of life challenges around the time. And I'm like, I'm just going through it, girl. I just got fired from the Marriott. I don't know what to do next. I'm lost. I'm this. I'm like, and I told her the same thing that I just told y'all, like how I just don't have no talents. I don't know what I could do. And she was like, La, you help me. Like, when you're talking to me, like you talk me out of suicide, you talk me out of just all type of things. She was like, that's a passion. Like, that's a talent. That's something that you can use. I was like, wow, I never thought about it like that. So started jotting down like some more ideas, and boom, April 2017, I discovered the name of my company. Still didn't know what I wanted to do. I'm like, okay, Young Wealth. I'm gonna call it Young Wealth. I really can't even tell you how or why I decided on a name, but it just like felt right. I went with like a couple of like girly names at first, but I was like, nah, I just want something that's strong and like powerful and that people are gonna like, take heed to and just feel like they want to be a part of. And so I decided on the name Young Wealth, and then I started it. Like I launched, so from April 2017 up until like January of 2018, I was just like plotting. And then January 2018, I launched the company. So it initially just started off just doing pop-up shops. That was my thing. I was helping other people, just putting together pop-up shops for other people. Y'all even spoke at one of my events. At the time, I wasn't selling apparel. So I was just eating off of like just the vendor's fee, like literally making about $5,000, $6,000 an event just off of, putting shows together. So that was cool. Like I was like, doing my thing with that. I was happy about that. I felt like I had found some type of lane of my own. And so 2018 to about 2020, I ran with that. A lot of people would come to the events to be like, La, you should sell merch. You should sell something. We want to support you. I was just kind of on a verge of like, no, I want to make sure everybody else eat. I want to, I don't want to take away from nobody else. And I did that from 2018 to 2020. And then COVID came in 2020. And that was literally the year, like that was my first year where my income from the pop-up shops had like doubled. Like I felt like I was the pop-up shop queen. I was about to take over the world. I'm like, I'm about to buy back the buildings, the block, like it's like, but COVID came. So it was like, wow, it just felt like a repeated cycle of what I had went through with the jobs. But I felt more empowered. I felt stronger. I felt like it's up to me to figure it out. And I know that if it's up to me to figure it out, I'm gonna figure it out because I'm not gonna let myself down. And if you on my team, I ain't gonna let us down. So it's like, I knew I had to do something. So I had got a Cricut machine for Christmas because I've always been like real artsy. I always like to draw, like crafty, things like that. So I got a Cricut machine for Christmas and I had never used it. And so of course around that time, like it was nothing to do. So I was like, you know what? I got bored. I'm like, I'm about to just start making some stuff and just branding the company. Cause that's what I always wanted Young Wealth to be about. Just everybody, like a household name, everybody knew it. Never really cared about, I'm not gonna say the apparel side of it, but like I never really thought to make money from it. I was just more so focused on
getting
the
your name
events.
out there.
Getting the name out there. So I started making stuff. Like I remember the first thing that I made, it was like a little short set for women. And I posted it on Instagram and people were going crazy. So I was like taken away by it. I'm like, okay, you kind of, I don't know if y'all are like that, but I kind of like critique my work.
Yeah.
So I was like, I kind of just posted it just to see what people were going to say, but I didn't expect for people to actually like it. And when they liked it, this was before I had a website, but the website was only for like the vendors that participated in my event and just things like that, not to sell anything. And so I was like, well, maybe I should like just put it on a website and just see how that goes. And I put it on a website and before you know it, like it went crazy. It was selling out. So I'm like, okay, this is it. Like, God, you listening? I know you heard me. Like, I just got to go on my move now. And so from there, that was that was March of, like from March of, I did my first little design in March. And then by May, it was like people like, you know, when you dropping more. And so by July, I had ended up getting a little spot. I kind of had it like a little, I'm not gonna say like a warehouse. It was like a little suite, and I was allowing people to like pick up.
Come shop with you.
Yeah, come shop with me and things like that. And so that kind of worked out. Like it gave me the feel of like, okay, people are actually like, they tapping in, they supporting, they pulling up now. So it's different when you like online and, you know, people are sending it out. But when people pull up, it's kind of like a different type of love. Like, okay, you pulling up for me and my brand. This is big. So they were pulling up, and the space was like really small. Like it was like literally like a room. So I kind of outgrew it like really, really, really fast. And I had it from July of 2020 to November. That was like the amount of time that I had the lease for. But I was in partnership with this guy. Him and I, like he have a clothing brand, and we were like working together. We kind of started together like with the Cricut machine and the heat press, like pressing our shirts outside of his room. And he kind of was like, you know, a lot of people, I just personally feel like a lot of people don't really, like they expect like, okay, you know, if you start a brand, whether it's a clothing line, a business, like they expect for it to boom how it boom on the days when it boom. And when it don't boom, they want to give up on it. And I'm telling y'all, when it get like that, you can't give up on it, because it's going to get right back greater later, but you got to go through the trials and the tribulations. So by the time November came, you know, we had the summer like on lock. He and I, we were like pumping up out of the building, but November came and, you know, it was getting cold, like just a transition, and people weren't shopping like that. So it was easy for him to be like, you know, nah, like I don't really want to like go forward with getting nothing else. And so I knew that I had to go forward, because I'm like, all right, we went from pressing shirts out your mom's house to the next step. I'm like, we can't go. I'm like not a person that want to go backwards. So I'm like, we can't go back to your mama house, because we going back to what we started at, and we didn't grow from there. We didn't start it from literally making maybe like $200 a week, and now we making $5K. That's big. That's a huge transition in only a month span. So I'm like, nah, we can't do that. So I'm like, all right, bro, like, you know, you go your way, I'm gonna go my way, and however it work, it just works. So from November to December, I was just like out the car, just like, you know, shipping it out and still praying. Like, I don't want to just come off like I'm just this super religious person, because I know everybody not really into it, but that's what helped me. That's what I've learned to like really help me elevate and get out of tough times and tough situations. So I started praying. I'm like, God, you know, I know, you know, I need somewhere like to pump this stuff, so help me. And I was riding up Chapatoulas Street one day. That's a street in New Orleans, if people aren't familiar with it. Riding up Chapatoulas, and I saw this storefront like building, and I stopped. And I promise you, like around that time, like I said, from July, August, September, it was good. Like we were braided up, money was good, but still in the beginning stages of the business. So a lot of the money was going back into reinvesting. So I wasn't really seeing it like that, but I still felt good to see something of my business, but it still wasn't a crazy amount of money to keep me afloat. So by the time November came, I'm not gonna say I was broke, but I was like back, you know, trying to get it out the mud. So when I started building, I knew that at the time, I'm like, I see this building, I don't really think that I'll be able to afford it, but I'm still gonna go for it, because why not? And I'm that type of person. Like, I'm just optimistic. I just go for it all the time. So I just called the number, and I'm like, hey, you know, my name's Lariel Mitchell. I'm, you know, a young entrepreneur. I'm looking for a spot. I'm just, you know, I gave him my whole backstory. And he was like, you know, you called at the right time. He was like, nobody haven't rented this spot out. You know, COVID is slow. He was like, you know, he needed the business just as much as I needed somewhere to station it. And I said, well, the only thing is I can't really provide the first 2 months rent. I'm like, if you can just give me 2 months free, by the time February come, I'll be able to pay the rent and, you know, handle everything. And so he agreed to do 1 month, and then he did like half of the rent for the next month, which was cool. It was still durable. And then we had locked that deal, and then like by the time February came, it was like, had the storefront like back pumping, and that was great. So That was a whole different thing too, because I don't know if y'all know, but I don't have the store anymore. But it was also a great experience to have a brick and mortar type of feel. So I'll tell y'all like a little bit about that after I tell y'all like the transition from the store and how I got everything to like really pop at the store. Because people not really just pulling up for, well, at the time wasn't really just trying to pull up for t-shirts.
Right.
It's always like an experience that I kind of sell that kind of get people to like get drawn into it. So that February was like the first month I started it. It was Mardi Gras. So I did like a couple of pop-up shops, kind of like let other people come in, kind of how I was doing it when I was doing events, but it was just like on a smaller, more intimate level, which was better. Like everything was working out perfectly because now at this point, I want to actually like communicate and have like a conversation with my vendors without feeling so busy. Like I'm just running around and trying to get the show going. So started doing that, getting the vendors to come out again, food vendors, everybody just kind of like a little community hub. And I ran that from February of 2021 until July of 2022. So in July of 2022, last year, I started to kind of feel myself outgrowing that spot too, but I was saying that it's crazy because like, whatever you say, like the power is really in the tongue.
Yes.
Yeah.
I had told myself when I like hit $100,000, I'm gonna leave. Like I'm gonna like try to venture out. Like, but I wanted to make $100,000 on Chapatula Street. And I swear, literally, how it happened, it was similar to the experiences that I experienced with the jobs. And that kind of like backed me out of just, when I go full for it with a brick and mortar again, I want it to be mine. I want to be the owner, like the landlord of it, because it's just the same thing. Like if your name, if you're not really signing it, you can't really like trust the person that's telling you, okay, you know, you're gonna be here for 4 more months or whatever, because they can do whatever they want to do, honestly. But it was maybe like June of 2022. I was at like maybe like sales like 92,000. And I remember I was talking to like one of my friends and I'm like, you know, I'm just not feeling it no more because I had started online and I always wanted to just push online. When I first started the company, I was like into like the e-commerce, like all that. And I saw the money in that. So me getting a store, I was just really only supposed to like push the stuff up out of the store. But by having that storefront feel, I was like, it's New Orleans, like everybody looking for a vibe. I just gotta do what I gotta do right now and use it for what it's worth. But around June of 2022, I'm like, yeah, I'm just not feeling it no more. Like I was close to my mark that I said that I wanted to make before I leave. And just like soon after that, like a month later, the man was like, you know, it's just not working out anymore. He was like, you know, I don't really want, because I was like doing events.
Yeah.
And he was having me like push that at first because he knew that's how I was paying the rent. But after a while, business started back booming for him too. So people that like paint and like do things like on a more like mellow scale were like inquiring, like tax consultants were inquiring about a space at his spot. So I just felt like he was kind of like over the hype of, you know, having to deal with me having these events and
it's a risk. It is
right,
risky.
and I totally understood it. I was thankful because I'm like I said, I'm gonna give it my all 100% until I'm tired, until I'm stressed out, until I'm not gonna back out until you tell me like, you gotta go.
And that could have been a blessing in disguise.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be real. That story right there was
I'm not calling you Lala no more. We Young Wealth.
Right.
Right?
Young Wealth.
For the rest of this video,
Yes.
we refer to you as Young Wealth. All right, but that's big though. I just like how the power in your voice. I can feel it.
Right.
You get what I mean? I like how I just like how strong you are. Like you coming up very, very strong right now. Yep. And I love that because there's a lot of people, like what you were saying earlier, you gave basically the definition of entrepreneurship.
Right.
Like it's not gonna be easy.
Right.
Like it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be ups and downs. It's gonna be transitioning periods. There's gonna be times where you gotta separate yourself from people that you started with.
Right.
Like because they not trying to go to that next level. And what you said is like, you can't go back to where no matter what, like you can't go back to where you started from. You gotta keep going.
Keep leveling up.
Keep leveling
and
up.
Improving.
Yes, keep improving, keep taking risks. Like we say it all the time. It's like people go in the casino and they be like, I'm only trying to lose $500.
Right.
Like they already going in with the losing mentality.
Right.
Instead of saying, man, I'm putting it all on black today. Yeah. You get what I mean? Like they not willing to
not advising that.
Yeah, not advising that if you not me. But like, hey, but real talk, but like with us, like we in, like, I mean, of course we think about it very, very strategically. It don't go always the way that you want to go. But we take risks.
Right.
Like, cause that's the only way you gonna win. Like at the end of the day, we look at everything as a win because we started with nothing. Right. So I just love, she just killed it.
She killed it. And that biggest risk is you taking the biggest risk when you decided you want to start your brand, because it's going to be two type of people. It's going to be either somebody that's just doing their brand or somebody that's working and try to doing their brand. So the risk for the person that's just doing their brand is like, this is all you got. Like this ain't, for us, we don't think about no plan B. We only think about how to make this plan work, period. The problem is you are already thinking about everything that's going to go wrong inside of the situation. You're trying to fix everything, but just do what work and keep working at it, and then fix what don't work down the line. Improve it. Because if you see, and we might find a shirt of what one of our old designs look like. If you see what our old designs look like compared to what our designs look like now, it's totally different. If you see where we started from with our pop-up shop set up at Tech with a table with no tablecloth on it, just putting the clothes on the table, it ain't even matter. We just gonna sell it. We don't even care. To now, going to Essence Fest and, having a grand booth, like really presenting ourselves the way that we want to be presented. But it didn't start like that. And you have to start where you are. And then if you do have, if you're working at a job, just think about like, you could give all the energy. You go, just like you said, you ain't doing nothing different that you wasn't, that the same effort and energy you was giving to those brands and those jobs. You sometimes when you got off that job, you didn't get that energy to your brand though.
Yeah. Couldn't, because I was so tired. I had then already given all my energy to their company.
And it's crazy. So people that have let's make it happen. Before we get into these gems that we about to drop, I need you to like, subscribe to the channel, run us up. 90K is approaching fast, and we're gonna be giving another lucky subscriber 100 free t-shirts. All right.
Hey, let's get into the questions. How can we help scale Young Wealth? How can we take that to the next level? So
that's a good question. Right now, lately, I've been just trying to work with like affiliate partners.
Explain that one too.
So I met this one of my uncle friends. His name is Demine Crump. He's like a millionaire in Atlanta. Well, he's from here, but he's stationed in Atlanta. And so we had sat down for like lunch. And I always, like, when I tell a story, I be feeling like, they have that little question. I'd be like, dinner with Jay-Z or $100,000. I felt like that was kind of like my dinner with Jay-Z because he dropped so many gems. And so he was just saying how he was like a serial entrepreneur all his life. And, he tried some things, it failed, it didn't work. And right before he started this new thing that he started, it was like, he was just about to like give it all up because he was just down on his last. So his company, it isn't t-shirts or like apparel or anything, but he sells pads for women. But the pads are like organic, and it's like, the regular pads and tampons, like they're cancerous, they can cause all type of problems. So he pretty much took the time out to like do the research on organic pads and tampons. So I'm saying all that to say, I asked him, I'm like, well, how did you scale, your company? And he told me affiliate marketing and affiliate partnerships. So I was just asking him like, well, how can I add that into my company? And so he was just showing me, like, we at the table, he like, I'm making this 40,000 just from my affiliates working for me. This ain't just from the sales from the website. So pretty much what the affiliate marketing do, for people who don't know, you get a person like, let's say Nick, he wants to be a brand ambassador for Young Wealth. I'll send him merch, product, packages, and he have a huge following. He might, like if he's an influencer, he have 100,000 followers or it's not even always about followers, guys. You can have a huge email list and like you have a bunch of subscribers that you sending it out to. That's equivalent to 10,000 followers on Instagram. So that's something that I had to learn. Like, it's not just always about what we see. Instagram, it's other ways where people that market it and scale. But with the affiliate marketing, I'll give a package to Nick and he get it out to his 100,000 subscribers or followers. And every purchase that they make through Nick, he'll get like 30% from my company. And so that was like, that's how I'm trying to like make Young Wealth scale. That's the only thing that I've kind of like really been working towards. Because it's kind of like my goal for this quarter.
All right, I'm sorry I gotta interrupt this video, but if you haven't checked out our monthly workshop, you are literally missing out. We have transformed over 500 brands and minds inside of this 3-day workshop. On day 1, we're gonna be covering design. We're gonna be giving you our design process to take your designs to the next level. On day 2, we're gonna cover marketing. So we're gonna show you how to set up and run Facebook ads. We're gonna show you how to create content. And on day 3, we're gonna give you the scale up. We're gonna give you the play on how to set up your pop-up shops, how to set up your distribution to do over $10,000 a month. You don't wanna miss this. If you're ready to continue to scale your brand, literally all I need you to do is click the link in the description. It won't take long, and we'll go ahead and see you in that workshop. Let's get back into the video. I understand. And for us to add to it, I would say that's definitely something. We never mastered the affiliate with getting other people to like giving them a percentage for selling. But what we would say is like, you know, continue to get as much merch as you can possible, so that way you can now, because it's all about how many people could see it. Like, and then with the affiliates, when you go in and those orders start coming in, it's really all about how do we get that back-end operation going? So the main thing while you even working on that is you need to be figuring out what does the process look like to even ship out those orders. Because let's just say you go get Nick to wear that product and you get $100. I want to order, 10,000 shirts right now. Like, what does that process look like? And that's how we be thinking, almost from like, how do, before we even, not we asking for this, but we have to continue to improve. I'll give you a perfect example. We was writing, we was getting orders from Shopify. We only could get 20 at print 25 at a time or 50 at a time. And basically, it wasn't until we figured out how to print 300 of them at one time by getting a new system was when we actually started to get more orders going. So it's going to be things like within your system that you probably need to fix first before you even focus on those type of things right now. Like, because we think about it, let me get these affiliates rolling, but really it could be the whole back-end process. So, or it could be the whole, if somebody do have an email or question, are they getting that response in time? Because just as good as it come in, I want you to focus on building a solid foundation, because that was one of the things that we truly focused on when we first was growing our business. Before we try to supercharge, because you already supercharging. You already doing those things that you need to do, but I guarantee you is maybe a few fundamental things about getting everybody. You talked about email and text, making sure you get everybody email and text that could be compounded and making you continue to scale up. And that stuff is really just an add-on. But like that's be the mindset that I would have on it about like, scaling up. It may not be in every way that it go based on what your systems have.
Yeah, it's like, speaking of like systems, it's like a business can make you a lot of money, but your system's going to make you a fortune. Meaning like you should be able to take things that's inside of your business and implement it in other people's businesses, and they can make their business go up just as much as it made your business go up. So put it like this. It's like basically like even with the shipping the orders, like we was writing on every package, right? But we can't, like if we gonna go from shipping 10 orders to 300 orders, we can't write on every package no more, because we'll have to hire a team just to write on orders. So we started to make cards that looked like they was wrote on, but technically like it's just a printed out card. So whenever we trying to focus on getting 500, 600 orders, because what we don't want to do is forget about where we came from. Meaning like if you started off doing a certain thing, you don't want to skip the process or cut the product just because now you got thousands of orders and at the time you had 10, so you focused on these 10. So what you want to do is like, because at the end of the day, like whenever you put your product on somebody, they gonna rep your brand and tell other people about your brand just as much as you doing it. It's like they are going to be your walking billboard. So like what you wanna do is you wanna treat every customer that you get just as you treated the first one. Because if you get 3,000 people to buy your product and you not treat them like that first customer that you started out to be, your brand gonna eventually fail. So like even with just going back to like emails and text message marketing, like just as you being transparent, like on this video, you want to be as transparent as you can with your customers. Like even, it don't matter. Like if you opening the store, closing the store, whatever, like I'm sending out an email, I'm sending out a text. Yo, we just closed the store down, but look what we gonna do. The site not closed.
Right.
All right, so we doing the closed down store sale. Go shop with us right now. Like they want to be inside of your business.
Wow, I'm so happy. That's really a shout.
They really want to like. We don't own Instagram. We don't own Shopify. We don't own none of these apps. Like the only thing that you truly own is your emails and your text messages.
Right.
Like if you're not getting people emails and phone numbers, like we technically don't have a business. Like, and we learned this because somebody said, all right, how many customers y'all got? And we like, I think we got 1,000. I mean, can you show me the 1,000 customers?
Right.
I mean, if you don't have 1,000 emails or 1,000 phone numbers, it's like you technically don't have those 1,000 customers. You get what I mean? So like at the end of the day, like you can use that one database to transition that same audience to other ventures that you do. So like it was like we did like and Fashion Nova kills it with this like it was like Instagram had went down. We always tell us the same story. Instagram went down and we thought that was the end of it. Right? We like, damn, Instagram down, what we gonna do? But we wasn't tripping because we like, we got thousands of people on our email and text list. So at that time, we sent out a text saying, yo, Instagram down, the site not 30% off for 30 minutes. People is killing our website, shopping.
Dang,
we didn't got 300-400 orders within 30 minutes just because of the simple fact of like we have exclusive access to the people that supporting our brand.
And not somebody else. Because and everything that you said early on with the scaling is like you went off to another end because it wasn't how you was building your brand.
And you know what's crazy? I'm so happy y'all said that because I feel like that's what I've been missing, like a system. Like I can honestly say wholeheartedly, I don't have a system in place. And I'm at a stage of like with my brand so where I feel like I'm all over. Like when I talk to him, I'm like, boom, that's what I need to do. Affiliate marketing. I started researching that, Googling it. I did it for Black Friday. It worked a little bit. So I've been trying to like build from there since then. But it's like things are kind of really all over the place because I don't have no system.
You gotta start with one thing. You gotta start with one thing at a time. And we tell people, like we tell like our students, we tell them, don't copy what we doing because we already built it to this level.
Right.
Like we just had some shirts that just had World Vision on it. We had 9 different colors. If somebody was just getting started, I wouldn't advise you to have 9 different colors.
Right.
I would advise you to maybe have 2 colors because the thing that you're trying to get is you're trying to have everybody wearing the same product. So whenever you go out in the world and they looking at this product, they like, damn, I keep seeing this. So now they starting to get more familiar with the brand. It's almost like what I was telling somebody yesterday. It was like Tesla is, Elon Musk is super smart because all the Teslas look the same. You don't know what's a 2018. You don't know what's a 2019. You don't know what's a 2020. You get what I mean? All you know is the different variations of a Tesla. But like the design is the same. So whenever you go into a big city, you like, man, I see all these Teslas around. It damn near look like one of them little kid movies that's like futuristic and you see, and they like, it's the same little car. You get what I mean?
Different colors.
Even with like, you don't really know when there's a bunch of Nissans and Toyotas because there's so many different models and body types to where like you're not familiar with that design. Like we tell people all the time, like if they had 100 people in the room, like you probably heard us say this, you have 100 people in the room and they got on 9 different designs, you're not gonna be quickly to notice that one brand. But you put 100 people in the room with the same design, everybody like, oh, what's this brand? So you got to think about that at a mass scale. How do I do this with the world? You get what I mean? So like, I wouldn't necessarily say like you can't take what a big brand already doing
and try to implement it
into what you're doing right away because you still got to get to that phase. It's almost like, bro, Marlon killed it with this couple of weeks ago. You can't go from first grade to 9th grade. You can't go from first grade. You can't like you go from first grade to 2nd grade to 3rd grade to 4th grade.
That's
like
really true.
and in business you do the same thing. You might be in 4th grade. You can't skip the college. You gotta go from 4th to 5th to 6th to 7th. And every little piece of your business is like that too. So and with your designer, you might already be in college, right? But with your email and your text list, you might be in middle school. So it's like you gotta look at everything as like a grade level and you gotta just keep on getting yourself to that next grade. And then eventually you're gonna be in college and you're gonna be ready to graduate. And then you're gonna be ready to take that strategy to the next level. Like even with us, like bro, we haven't we was paying influencers maybe like 2-3 years ago. But at the time we like, damn, Like, we should really just keep focusing on our Facebook ads because this is really what's helping our business. Like, I feel like the affiliate marketing, like, especially with, like, Fashion Nova, everybody already know their brand.
Right, yeah.
So this is just that extra pump to say, oh, they still getting it popping because they got these
still relevant.
Yeah.
They still relevant. Like, you get what I'm trying to say? But, like, at the end of the day, like, we thought we wanted to do that too. We like, man, we looking at Fashion Nova, we see all these celebrities. We like, man, let's start hitting them in the emails, hitting them in the DMs, paying $1,000, $2,000 from the web. But
y'all feel like
we not seeing it wasn't a direct impact on our sales.
Right. That's
but when I'm spending money on Facebook ads and I'm spending $1,000, I'm seeing my sales $3,000, $4,000. You see what I'm saying? So I feel like we was. And we learn every day. Like, we are sponges. We do not sit up here and think that we know it all.
Right.
But one thing that I learned that I sometimes forget, but I'm trying not to never forget this, is never change what already working. You just build on top of it. I will never stop selling shirts for $10, $15, $20. Like, I'm not about to just switch my brand from selling $10 tees to then selling 50. What I'm gonna do? I'm gonna have the 10 and I'm gonna have the 50. It don't make sense to stop what's already working because what happens is this. People have one source of income and then they be like, man, I want another source. But then when they get that second source, they lose that first source. So I guess how many sources you're back at? One.
Right.
Exactly.
Yes. And then what I wanted to just hit on, what was big, is just that instead I think focusing with like personal people like Nick and stuff, I think you would do better attaching yourself B2B with more corporations and stuff. Like, I know you went to Warren Eastern.
Yeah.
So like going back to Warren Eastern and maybe starting that young love program that's not gonna help the next young lady or next young man become the next person that you are, instead of like figuring out how you could get this product on somebody, because the reward is gonna come with the impact, because now you gonna create that system on that, and think about, you could put that in thousands of schools.
Right.
And now you gotta really challenge yourself and ask, like, I think if you focus on impact over income, you're going to get the income.
Right.
So I'm saying, like, focus on how can you go out and make an impact with your brand and and allow people to know what your brand represents and stand for. That way it's strong when it does hit that market, and then that income going to follow, and then you're going to be able to be like, man, let me get a little baby in this.
Right, yeah.
And then everybody gonna be like, man, I saw her. She done did this. She done did that. She was helping them out in Houston and stuff like that. And the support gonna roll in. But if Lil Baby wear your stuff right now, like, you might get that hype for the moment, but because your brand, the people in the market,
it wasn't on the streets. Basically, it's not on the streets.
Right.
You gotta get
it.
The streets is really where it's at.
Right.
They there, but the streets.
No, and see, I always feel like that. So I don't want to say like, okay, Nick with 100K followers. Like, I would just say like a person, they could have maybe like 5,000 followers. Like, just a person like with influence. That's what that's the people that I was trying to target, like with my affiliate program. But y'all done like kind of shifted my mindset.
Because it's
I'm
time
going back to
spent.
the drawing board.
It's time
for sure.
spent. Like, the time you spend it. All right, even Nick with 5,000 followers, the time spent that you're gonna get them packages, try to make sure that they posting your stuff and making the sales. Like, is it worth your time of building the systems around your brand that's gonna be able to run without you when you really make it go?
Right.
Like, that's all we just trying to challenge you and challenge the viewers to see, like, your time is very valuable. Even on the last podcast, you a high level entrepreneur at this point. You need a schedule. Like, you gotta have meetings with, even if it's yourself. Like, I'm saying, you gotta be the only one in the room. Like, man, I got this content meeting, about to write these ideas down. You gonna have to do it, and then when you start doing it, it's gonna start attracting the people that need to be in your corner, in your circle, to help you bring that idea to the next level.
Right.
And that's the things we felt like that we was focusing on, instead of, trying to, figure out, how can we get these people? We put it on ourselves, because we had times at the kiosk, which you probably see, like, you may have somebody working in the store and they not making as many sales as you. You be like, damn, my sales good when I'm there, but it's not good when they're there. And then we would be like, man, we want either we gotta pay them more.
We gotta go do it ourselves.
We gotta go do it ourselves.
That's what we be thinking.
And then it's not. I don't want you to think that. We need to think about, okay, well, we probably not putting our brand out in this area where the store at enough so people to know that we here and want to purchase. It don't got nothing to do with the team member. It got something to do with who running the brand.
Right. Wow, that makes sense.
Like, output of a successful business is the input of a successful entrepreneur. At the end of the day, you run your business. Like, so if the team not performing how the team's supposed to perform, you are a bad coach. Like, at the end of the day, people don't blame the players for losing the players don't really get fired for losing the championship. It will be the coach. Right. They got to get rid of the coach, because at the end of the day, this is the person that need to take this team and take them to the championship. So like, bro, and we used to think like this ourselves. Like, of course, we're going to get more sales than people we put on the team, because we care so much more about our brand. Right. You can't sit like you are not going to find people that are going to be young wealth from 8 in the morning to 2 o'clock in the morning like you. You get what I mean? Right. But you have to do your best. All you could do is do your best. Right. There's nothing else you could do. All you could do is do your best to try to influence them and give them that energy that they need to be able to be young wealth from 8 in the morning to 2 in the morning. Like, you know, they might not do it 100%, but if you invest in them, they may be 80 or 90, which is just as good as when you was doing it, because guess what? You get to go do something else. Right. Like, you have to fire yourself and hire yourself in the next position in your company. That's the only way that you're gonna be able to grow.
Yep. And I got a question, like, cause I know you making money, you got your thing going. How do you like keep track of that? Do you have some type of system for that?
So I use Square, so that kind of like helped me. You know, they have like a lot of information and like tools implemented in their site and their little dashboard that kind of like help you keep track of like the transactions and like the sales, the monthly sales, the weekly sales. Other than that, that's really about it. At one point when it was like, when I first started, I felt like I needed a CPA, but I feel like, well, I'm not gonna say I'm not making enough money for a CPA, because when I looked up, I just feel like everybody should really have a CPA, but I feel like that's still just skipping, like that's going back to systems. Like I have to work on that before I kind of get to where.
And that's what I was about to say.
That's what they gotta help you with. Like our screen printer is a part of our team. Okay. Our CPA is a part of. We can't do it all. So like at the end of the day, like we try not to, cause bro, I promise, like me and Marlon used to be, and this guy really helped me think on another level, because I was all design, what's the best colors, what's the best products to put it on. But at the end of the day, if we never really do the math and do the numbers, we not gonna really get nowhere. And if we can't pull up on our phone right now and say, this is my business, like it's kind of tough for somebody to help us, because like we don't know what we actually need help with. And like I probably pay my account $100 a month to really just manage what I got going in my personal business. Like I think Marlon really kind of do his himself. He kind of do his himself because he been doing it. But me, I'm like, it's good. It's easier for you to like do it right. Yeah, but it's not expensive. We used to even think that hiring somebody was expensive. What's more expensive is your time. Right. Because at the end of the day, like in a perfect world, let's just say you want to get paid $500 an hour. You can. Like it's your world. Right. So $500 an hour, right? But if you're spending your time doing something that's not helping you make that $500 an hour, it's pointless in doing it. So like what you need to do to get back your time is to fill in those positions in which your time don't need to be needed for. So that's like working at the kiosk. Like we worked up for 2 months. That's it. Like we can't work at this kiosk for 3 years. Marlon, we can't. How are we gonna build a big business? Right. So like, what are we gonna do? We already signed our lease for 6 months to a year.
So that was like forced to hire.
Yeah. And I'm gonna go back to because I got another point when you hit on that, but I'm gonna go back to the expenses stuff, the taxes, and just keeping up with the accountant. You could do that on QuickBooks, and you know, you need to do that because that's going to allow you to have those financial statements that's going to show you, like, you're going to see, like, we notice things where, like, okay, shipping is up 10% than what it was the last 3 years. What happened? How can we bring the shipping costs down? Or we notice on there, like, we may be subscribed to a subscription that we're not even utilizing.
Right.
But now that I have my financial systems in play where, I'm talking about income and expenses, and you being able to categorize it, you could see it, and you get the view and control of your business. And with those statements, that's what you're gonna need to provide to a bank for funding, for loans, for credit. And then with the account, every entrepreneur gonna need an accountant, whether you making $0, because you still need you paying for the insight.
Right.
Like that's one thing that we learned. I don't want money just to have money, just to say I have it. I want to have money so I can utilize it as a vehicle to get information that I want, or be able to work with the best people in the world, or put myself in the environment of the best. That's the reason why I want money. It ain't just so I could just have it and just, I can do that. Oh, they'll throw it through. Yeah. It ain't that. I want to use it as a vehicle to continue to level me, as a tool to continue to level me up. So paying for accounting is now me paying for somebody that's doing research on finances, on taxes, on what's out there in the market. Right. And now he bringing it to me because I'm not able to spend my time to do that. But he is already, so why not have him on your team? And now when it's time for me to do end of the year tax returns, it's just boom, it's a click of a button, they already on it. You don't gotta be like at the end of the year, I need to find some. If you gotta find somebody to do your tax at the end of the year, you wasn't prepared. Right. You should already have that ready already. You should know who you're going to. The end of the year is about to come up and it's approaching. And then so that's just a crazy part. And then another part what he has said is honestly, and that's maybe why you felt that way when I started to think about it, because honestly, you got the system, you already did it. I wouldn't stop doing the stores because you made it looked at it as you spending your time there. But when you create the system and other people spending their time there, now you like, man, I could put this in Atlanta, Houston, LA, New York, because I could manage it because I have people and I have systems that's in play to do it. So if you can make 100 here, why not go make 100 in Houston too? And then 100 in Atlanta too? Like, don't stop. Right. It's just what he that's when he said you stop the incomes to focus on the next one. We want to keep doing it. We want to be online. We want to do the pop-ups. We want to figure out a way to distribute in partnerships. We don't want just to be one-dimensional. We want to figure out how to distribute this product around the world any way that we can. And if it's working, don't stop working it until it literally just break down. And I mean break down as it don't make sense financially. But just because if you losing money, if you breaking even, it still makes sense. So it's crazy
because I feel like I'm not gonna say I feel like I was losing money with the store, but when you said it was a blessing in disguise, I really do believe that it wholeheartedly was, because when I had the store, I was solely just focused on just New Orleans, like having people like pull up to the pop-up shop. It was like, a few people that follow me on Instagram and that know me from different cities would like stop by in New Orleans and be like, hey, we in town. We want to check out your store. But for the most part, I would get new arrivals, for example, and people would, if I'm doing a event or like having a store, like before I could even get it online, it would sell out in stores. So people would see me with it on, and like people that I know in Houston and New York or Atlanta, they'll be like, hey, why is it not on the website? Like, how can, and I was just so overly worked at the store to where like, I just wasn't even like uploading stuff to the website anymore. It was just everything kind of was like in store. So when I left from the store, I was just on like a more so like, I gotta go global. Like I gotta kind of like up the brand. And that's when I feel like I kind of, I'm not gonna say went global, but like I just feel like people from like LA, Arizona, like because I was able to like put more time and energy into my website, into like the photo shoots, into like content. Like I was the whole year from 2020 to 2022, I wasn't really, it may have seemed like I was like pushing out a lot of content to people that follow me, but I feel like I wasn't. Like now I feel like I'm just really like on my content kick because I'm online now. And like I know, for online, you gotta push it. Like people gotta see it. So I definitely do want to get back to like you said, like having it everywhere. But I feel like I was not slowed down, but like got back like to this level to put the systems in place. Back to what y'all was saying.
Look, I challenge you. Check this. I challenge you. Think about this, because people that know New Orleans is where can you get manchu chicken?
On Cleveland?
No, what city?
Oh, New Orleans.
Wells.
No Wells.
Right. Where can you get McDonald's?
Everywhere.
Right.
Exactly.
I got another question.
Who you think is a bigger business?
McDonald's.
Of course.
Yeah. And my point being, okay, they got the McDonald's that's on the Broad, right? Can somebody from Dallas eat at that McDonald's? No, they can't.
Oh,
they gotta come down, right?
If they come down here.
They gotta come down
Right,
here. That's why they put a McDonald's in Dallas.
Right.
So they don't have to come down here.
Right.
you get what I mean? So that is only the only thing that was stopping you. You felt like it was just down here because you only put it down here.
Right.
You going down here. Don't stop. Put it somewhere else
Right.
too.
That's true, yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say.
get what you're saying.
But it's you bettering yourself as an entrepreneur though. Like people gonna support you. Like I promise you. Like they gonna support the hell out of you.
Right.
But now it's about how do you get better as an entrepreneur. Like that's really the next step in everything. That's the bridge between right now where you at and where you actually want to be. How do I get better as an entrepreneur? And we tell people all the time, the difference between a rich person and a poor person is a poor person works for money. A rich person works for knowledge and skills.
Right.
Because you can turn that knowledge and skills to however much young wealth you want it to be.
Right.
Because like you would put those stores there right now if you could. Like, and the only thing that stops you is really what's uphill.
Right.
It's not about no bread because you already made something out of nothing.
That's
You
true.
already know how to make something
Wow,
out of
y'all
nothing.
is dropping some gems.
No, it's real. Though. It's like we come from that, so everything is a win. Like we know how to make something out of nothing.
Right.
You just told me you got a friend that's making millions. Hey, I got the plan already.
Right.
I just need the investment now. All right, let me see the plan.
I need
This is
the
it.
1 month free and have.
Yeah.
That's
Go
what I'm
do
trying
that
to say.
somewhere
Like,
else.
if you ain't got
Yeah.
the plan, like they gonna want to know what's the plan. They gonna ask you a ton of questions. Like, so right now, I'm telling you, look, bro, people, it's not a lack of money. It's never was a lack of money
that's
for none
so
of us.
true.
Yeah, it's the knowledge.
It's the mindset. And it's like, I know that, like, that's like my mindset on a daily basis. But like, when I get caught up in these situations, I just feel like, when I get caught up in my mind, like I just kind of spiral, I feel like.
And you need people around you.
I was just
Right.
about to
It's
say
the
that.
environment.
Man,
That's why I
it's
feel
the
I
environment.
feel very empowered, like sitting here, because like it's not enough people that's thinking like how y'all are thinking, how I'm thinking. People are thinking like 9-to-5 workers, and nothing is wrong with being a 9-to-5 worker, because I'll play like the janitor role, the CEO, like all that to
Talk
get
to
to,
'em.
but
Talk to 'em.
people have that mindset to where it's like, you just gotta do this to get to this. They don't have the mindset like, well, you gotta do this to get to this so you could get here to like how y'all are thinking. So just being around y'all is definitely like waking me up, getting me back to that.
It's like they want to
to
be rich. It's like they want to be like everybody want to be rich.
Right.
Like you can't sit up here and tell me that nobody don't want to be. They want to be rich, but they not thinking
Right.
Yep.
on the scale of how to be rich.
Right.
Like they don't ask themselves. Like Rich Dad Poor Dad. It said a statement closes the mind, a question opens the mind. So the minute you tell yourself that you can't do this, you can't
It's
do it.
already
Like
done.
it's already like it's done. Like the minute you ask yourself, how can I do this? You immediately start thinking of ways to
Right.
be able to do it.
Yeah.
So people literally just gotta ask themselves, all right, first they gotta know what they want, and then they gotta ask themselves, how can I get here? And who do I need to be around to be able to force me to get to that level? Like
Right.
us, like bro, our environment is everything. Like if you're not thinking how we thinking, if you're not thinking on a $1 billion level, it don't even make sense. Grant Cardone said this in the book. If you hang around people who can't pay, you know how you go out to a restaurant and everybody split the tab?
Right.
Everybody at the table should be able to pay for the whole tab.
Right.
Like if everybody at that table can't pay for the whole tab, then you're gonna end up not being able to pay for the whole tab too, because that's the people that you hang with.
Right.
If you hang with people who can't pay, you will eventually can't pay.
Right.
Yep.
Not be able to pay.
And I won't speak to the people because you said the people that are working, but it's like it's a mindset thing. Because if you watching this podcast and you working, you on it. You still
Right.
activating your vision. You
Definitely.
still following it because you seeking knowledge, and I commend you. But now what I want to challenge you is to realize the skills, because we just said poor people work for money, rich people work for experiences.
Right.
And skills. So you need to realize what skills are you building. Like when you was working at the Marriott Marquis, it was preparing you for what you was doing now.
Right.
You work front desk?
Right. Yeah.
So
front
you were already coming
Customer
in,
service.
customer service.
Yeah.
You already was selling
Staying with a
the
smile on
brand,
your
staying
face.
with a smile. So now when you go to your product, you're not really even realizing the skills that probably took you that made you successful at that job is making you successful right now in your business.
Right.
So people that's working, you need to become aware, like, man, I'm a front desk. Like, how can I take my skills that I'm learning or watching what's going on in the back end? Like, how are they getting everybody here on time? Or like fixing whatever problems that's right there is gonna make you valuable and allow you to continue to level up. You don't, just because you at a certain place don't mean you have to stay there.
Right.
Like, stop putting in your mind where you gotta like change your whole job to get in a different position.
Right.
No, what you need to do is become aware of what's going on around you and find out how can you add value to that business, or figure out that the same problem that your business solving. So Marriott Marquis may have great customer service, but the Hilton Inn down there don't have it. Right. So now you could go in there and be like, man, I learned all this. I can improve y'all.
That's the system.
I can improve y'all front workers and make the hospitality better for this company.
Which gonna ultimately make them more money.
So now I need you to pay me $5K.
Yes,
that's a
because I'm
business.
gonna make you that.
Right.
So it all came from when you was working. So don't think just because you working, you're not an entrepreneur or can't start thinking entrepreneurial and add value in some way. But people that are full-time entrepreneurs, you need to be doing this 24/7.
Right.
You don't have no other choice. Yes. So it's crazy. Man, this one was crazy. Like we said, we in here, the hometown New Orleans, doing podcasts with the greats. And man, we just appreciative that you came onto the show. We just appreciative of everybody that's been supporting us, asking for women entrepreneurs. We gave y'all a good one right here. So make sure y'all like, subscribe to the channel. Let them know where they can find you.
Wait.
So I want to tell anybody who's watching, because I hear this a lot. Like, I was out last night at an event for Essence, and I heard a girl. I was talking to her, and she was telling me she's trying to start hairline. And she been saying that she wanted to start it for like the past 3 years, but she's saying she wanted to be perfect. She want her marketing to be this. She want her promo to be this. And I'm piggying back off of what Marlon said, because I remember you said when y'all were in Ruston, y'all was setting up like, regular no tablecloth, regular table. And I just want people to know, like, that's still where I'm at in my business. But I still put my best foot forward every day. Like, sometimes my table isn't up to par, but I know that, I have to sell these items to reinvest and to like double up. So I still do it. I don't have no type of, no type of shame when it comes to my business, because
no ego.
I know where I'm gonna be at. Like I've been in business for 6 years. So I've already, like you said, I've already come for it, and I already know I'm gonna go even further. So I'm not about to let what I don't have stop me from getting what I want. And I want y'all to have that same mindset.
You gotta be confident. You gotta be confident.
Hey, I'm Marlon Watts, co-owner and CEO of World and Vision.
Hey, I'm Nicholas Clark, co-owner and designer of World and Vision. Hey, we checking out with Young Well. Shout out to Young Well.
Shout out to
We just turned up. Let us know what y'all like about this video. Thank y'all so much for watching this.
We out.